So welcome again, and let's get this conversation kicked off with a conversation about food rescue with our first speaker, Christina McDonough. Christina works at the Scott County Health Department, has been involved with the Food Rescue Partnership since its onset in 2013. Each year, she helps the Food Rescue Partnership establish a community action plan to promote rescuing food for its best possible use. Christina is a graduate of the University of Northern Iowa, where she majored in health promotion and is a certified health education specialist. Her passion for food rescue has carried over into her personal life, where her kids love leftovers night, where they can put any combination of food together for dinner. We do that at my house too, Christina. It's such a fun night. We have clean the fridge night, so it's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being here, and feel free to share your screen when you're ready.
Thank you. It is an absolute honor to be here to help kick off the Food Summit of the Quad Cities. It's truly exciting. And so while I am working on the technology of everything getting set up, I really just want to say that I'm excited for this opportunity to talk about the Food Rescue Partnership. We have made a lot of progress with our grassroots initiative. And one of the things that got us started back in 2013 was the Scott County Food System Assessment. So this was a requirement of one of the grants the Scott County Health Department received then. And we were asked to collect indicator data on 124 different food system levels in our very community. And with that, we were looking at all of the steps that it takes to feed a population. For example, we looked at how many farms are in Scott County, what those farms are producing, and we also looked at how many fast food restaurants are in Scott County, the percentage of youth and adults consuming fruits and vegetables, farmers markets, and then obviously we looked at how much food waste there is in our community as well. So once the Scott County Health Department was done collecting the 124 indicators for our food system assessment, the next on our list was sharing the data with our community partners and working to identify which one of those indicators we wanted to establish a community action plan to improve and make better in the very own Quad Cities. So obviously, I think it goes without saying we selected the indicator percentage of food waste, and we were really motivated by this. So for us, we felt confident in our ability to make a direct impact in the percentage of food waste, but also to help those that are food insecure in the Quad Cities. So I want to share with you one of the data points that we have for overall waste in Scott County. So on the screen now, you'll be seeing very similar sized communities: Cedar Falls, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and Scott County. So I pulled indicators on the percentage of food waste that is loose and just in the landfill, and that is still packaged. And it's crazy to see that in Scott County, we have so much food waste that is packages, but we're not alone in that with our surrounding communities that are very similar. And so, if anybody's really interested in data, this study was in 2017. It was conducted through May and July at 10 different host facilities across the state of Iowa. And so these facilities represent the diversity of solid waste in the state of Iowa that are similar in geography and also size. Data is provided for each category as percentage of the total. And so it's important to note that the overall waste composition includes waste from residential as well as larger manufacturer waste generating sectors in this study. So all of this information can be found as well. So in addition to collecting data, one thing that our community partners thought was interesting when we were reviewing everything was we wanted to learn about other food rescue organizations in Iowa. And so I saw that we have some of those people in attendance today. So we reached out to Table to Table in Iowa City, and they shared a lot of their efforts, as well as Eat Greater Des Moines. So it's really great to hear what Iowa City and Des Moines is doing, because they are very similar to the Quad Cities community. However, we're unique, we're great. We just got our I-74 bridge that is up and running for traffic, and it will be soon for pedestrians as well. So the next thing on our to-do list with this data and convening of our community partners was to reach out to those that would be directly impacted by our efforts to increase food rescue practices throughout the entire Quad Cities. So keeping in mind, this started with the Scott County Health Department, but we realized we are really the Quad Cities community. And so we had partners on both sides of our river. So what we did was we reached out to food establishments, retail food stores, and nonprofit hunger relief agencies in our area to gauge what was working well for them and what we could help to improve. So this is the questionnaire that we asked, and we were very fortunate to partner with Augustana College and have their students help make these phone calls. And so we really just asked them a few simple questions. Are you donating food? If yes, what's working well? And what can we help to improve? And if no, why aren't you donating food? And what can we do to motivate you to do so? And so we collected a lot of really great information, and we did the same assessment in 2018. And the answers were very consistent between the 2016 and the 2018 survey that we did with our community partners. Education awareness was a huge one. People didn't know they could donate food. They thought it had to go in the trash and ultimately to the landfill. Education awareness is something we are continuing to work on today. Transportation was another barrier. So a lot of people said, I'll donate food, but I can't send my staff to do it because I need them in the kitchen. I need them serving the tables. And especially today now, we're seeing that short staffing is a problem everywhere. Communication was another barrier. So when we're working on our education and awareness and people were excited about donating food, they were overwhelmed by how many nonprofit hunger relief agencies were in the Quad Cities. How could they pick just one to donate food to? So we would help them have those conversations of, let's look for geography, what's close to you. But then also, not every hunger relief agency can take the same exact type of food. So there's obviously the difference between the food bank, food pantry, and a meal site. So the food bank is really taking those big box store donations that require the forklift of all of the groceries that didn't get sold. And they have a huge warehouse, and the food pantries typically go there and are getting their food. And then that is where you would go to stock up and fill your cupboards if you were in need. And the meal site is where you can find a hot meal served and ready to eat at that moment. So having that education awareness component, connecting the dots of what type of food do you have left over? Do you have a lasagna that's made and hot and ready to eat? Or do you just have the ingredients to make the lasagna? And so we help make those partnerships. And then another thing that we're going to hear a lot more about today is liability. People said they didn't want to donate food because they were afraid it would get them in trouble, and they have their food license and all these safety guidelines they have to follow, and they just didn't want to be concerned with liability. So it's a great opportunity for us to talk about the federal Good Samaritan Food Donation Act. And it is enacted in the states of Iowa and Illinois to protect against civil and criminal liability. So you will be an expert after another session today about the Good Samaritan Food Donation Act. So we also wanted to connect the dots, right? So we know there's food waste in Scott County, and there's hungry people in Scott County that are food insecure and they don't know where their next meal is coming from. And so we were looking at our Quad Cities community now in a different lens. And again, we were very fortunate in partnering with Augustana College GIS students. And so they created this map for us. And so when you're looking at it, a food desert is considered to be more than 1 mile from reliable access to healthy foods. And so what these great students did was they got all of the data and information of reliable, healthy, accessible food in the Quad Cities community, put stars on the map, and then created a 1-mile grid around it. So when you're looking at this map, anything outside of that grid is considered a food desert. And it just blows my mind that there are so many gaps in the very own Quad Cities. And something else to keep in mind, that this number has actually changed since 2018. So we've had a few grocery stores that have closed that are now increasing the food deserts in our very own community. So this is a really great resource, and it is available on the Food Rescue Partnership website. It's on our homepage. So if you want to look at the multi-level map and add the layers and remove the layers, I encourage you to visit foodrescueqc.org. And you'll see we even added in bus routes for the community, because if somebody doesn't have access to reliable food, they also probably don't have access to a reliable vehicle. So the students did a really great job thinking about a multitude of things. So also in a response to the food rescue results that we had found during all of our research, was we thought we've learned so much throughout this process. I know I did. And so we wanted to share that knowledge to help with the awareness component. And so all of our community partners came together and we developed a resource guide on food rescue. And this is really targeted towards those professional food establishments and retail food stores in the Quad Cities, but anybody can benefit from the information. And it is absolutely free and available to download on our website. And that again is foodrescueqc.org. So this guide really goes into a lot of what we've already talked about and what we're going to continue to talk about throughout this summit. And I'd like to specifically mention the local health department's involvement. So I had explained that the project got kicked off with the Scott County Health Department doing the food system assessment, but this is really that Quad Cities effort. So both Scott County and Rock Island County Health Departments, along with others in Illinois, are committed to making education and awareness available for those. So what you'll see on both health department websites is information on food rescue. So this is a screenshot, in that red circle there you see where instead of throwing away your extra food, we want you to donate it. We want you to consider food rescue. And so providing that information and resource to our website and Facebook page has been very helpful because obviously the restaurants and grocery stores that are being inspected by these health departments have a very trusted relationship. Another thing that we do is we work with all of the inspectors in the community. So the Scott County Health Department inspectors know that they have their coworker, Christina, and I am talking about food rescue. So they'll take the brochures with them and carry them with them. And if it comes up naturally in a conversation, they can share the resource and connect them back to me. And likewise, that's happening with the inspectors in Rock Island and East Moline. And so it's a really great partnership with the boots on the ground of that trusted resource. And then we're also fortunate in Scott County, we typically host our own ServSafe classes for those professional food handlers. And so this picture here was taken from a presentation at the ServSafe class. So we're talking to people that are in the kitchen, making the food, and really trying hard to educate them. So I truly believe that the strongest attribute of the Food Rescue Partnership providing education awareness to our community are the stakeholders and partners. We have such a dynamic group of people that are involved with this collaboration, and you'll see here. And so I just want to briefly mention the difference between a stakeholder and a partner. The stakeholders are people that are attending our regular monthly meetings and are involved in the day-to-day discussion of what can we do to help get the word out there. Our partners are the organizations that can't commit to attending meetings, and that's fine. We're all very busy people, but they see the value in our work, and we can call upon them whenever we need help. And they are there to help us facilitate a workshop. They're there to provide us resources or make connections or students. As you've heard a lot about the great help that we've had from Augustana College. And I'm going to talk about St. Ambrose University in a little bit as well. But before I do, I think it's really important to show this picture, because the Food Rescue Partnership is a lot more than just great organizations. There's a lot of wonderful people that are volunteering their time and energy. And we even have retired community members that attend our meetings and help get the word out there. So it's a lot of great people that are committed to this work, and they deserve all of the recognition. In an effort to expand the vision of the Food Rescue Partnership as a community-wide initiative and not just something health department focused, stakeholders thought it was really important to nominate and vote for our members to serve on a board. And so this is our current board members. As you know, I serve as the Food Rescue Partnership Board Chair. I've been involved with the onset of the Food Rescue Partnership since 2013 and really help make sure that the day-to-day paperwork and tracking of what progress we're making is documented. Our Vice Chair, Cheryl True, is a lifelong resident of the Quad Cities, and she is a board certified family and lifestyle medicine physician. She is passionate about creating opportunities for living our best lives, which she knows also includes reducing food waste and repurposing it for its best possible use. Next to Cheryl is Colleen Doak. She is a professor in the Masters of Public Health program at St. Ambrose University, and her research focus has been on undernutrition combined with chronic disease. And so she is really passionate about social justice and addressing food insecurity locally in our Quad Cities. She's also very passionate about reducing food waste, and on Monday mornings, her and her husband go on food rescue deliveries, and he's been so committed that he's doing it on a very weekly basis, which is absolutely wonderful. And then our treasurer, Larry Linenbrink, became interested in the Food Rescue Partnership after he attended a conference where he attended a session about food rescue and he learned about it. And so his interest is really making sure that food is getting to those that are food insecure and hungry, and they need that food. So we have really great board members, but it is more than just the board. It's all of those stakeholders making a lot of great strides. And so I have to brag about some of our accomplishments. In 2016, we launched a Members of Food Rescue program. So think of some healthy competition. There are currently 19 Quad City organizations that are recognized for their food rescue efforts. And so if you yourself donate food, or you know of your favorite restaurant or grocery store that donates food, check our website. If they're not there, encourage them to apply. We will recognize them with a certificate, window clings, and we'll blast them and recognize them on our website and social media. In 2018, we were selected for a fresh film video project. This was a really great opportunity for us to work with a bunch of students that were volunteering time on their spring break to create a video for a local nonprofit. And so they created a 30-second PSA and a full-length video that's on our website. So we're very proud of those students. And when you look at the picture in the bottom corner there, you'll see they were middle school students and they did great work. And then also in 2018, we were lucky enough to partner with St. Ambrose University students. And so they conducted a research brief and campaign plan for us and came up with a lot of great social media posts and education awareness toolkit that we can use and just get out and go. We have also been recognized by the EPA for a Food Recovery Challenge Award winner twice. We're very excited about it. It is a huge honor for the coalition to be recognized by the EPA, and keep your fingers crossed for us because we submitted an application to be recognized for a third time. So we're hoping that our progress will continue to be recognized by the EPA. And then the Food Rescue Partnership has hosted 3 workshops for the Quad Cities. And so we're really proud. All of that information we shared at those 3 workshops, if you weren't there, it's on our website available for you. And we're hoping to host our next workshop in October of 2022. So we are very much looking forward to that. But most importantly, since the onset of the Food Rescue Partnership, we helped coordinate more than 53,618 pounds of food. 53,618 pounds of food we have helped coordinate and divert from the landfill. So we think that is just hugely impressive. And during the first week of COVID-19 restrictions and closures for in-person dining at the restaurants, we worked with our partners and we were able to rescue in 1 week 4,400 pounds of food. 4,400 pounds of food in less than 1 week was diverted from the landfill. And you'll see that picture there where we had so many partners set up and make sure that their food did not go to waste and it fed hungry people in the community. It was absolutely great to see the entire community come together, and we want to continue to capitalize on that energy. So I talked about the EPA and they are here. And so I really want to mention that we became an endorser of the EPA's Food Recovery Challenge in 2016. And we work on all levels of their hierarchy. So not only are we focusing on feeding hungry people, we provide education on source reduction. We help make connections for feeding animals and industrial uses because Seaver's Family Farm does do anaerobic digestion in the Quad Cities. And then we talk about composting because we do not want food to be wasted and going to the landfill. And with that, I just want to say, I really hope this motivates you to rescue food. I hope you are excited and energized for the rest of the summit that we have today and next week. And I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much, Christina. It's just amazing the work that you do. Congratulations on your recognitions, and it's very inspiring. And hearing these stories from food rescue all over our region is very inspiring. Yeah, feel free to unmute and ask a question, raise your hand, throw it in the chat if you'd like. To ask Christina your questions. Also, the resources that Christina mentioned, of course, go to their website. If you forget that website, if you go to the Food Summit website, we have links to just their website, but also to the map and the toolkit and all those things as well. So we can make sure that you get to those resources. So feel free to jump in with your questions.
Christina, this is Brian. I'm one of Michelle's counterparts. I had a quick question for you. Have you been successful? I really enjoyed the pictures that you were showing towards the end with the outreach stuff. Do you have a local TV station, and have you been able, if so, do they have a morning show? Have you been able to get on to TV coverage of it? Great job, great presentation. Just wondering.
Thanks. We've had really good luck with our press releases when we submit them to local media. So when the Fresh Films video project, that 30-second PSA was finalized, they had a partnership with Channel 6 in our area. And so they played that 30-second clip for several weeks, which was really great because we got quite a few phone calls and letters of interest following that. And then we've also been lucky on Living Local. We've been on there twice. So we have a great relationship and good success getting the word out there when we're using our press releases. So it's good to have that collaboration with the media as well.
Great, thanks.
Well, I have a question for you, Christina. Uh, when you first were kicking off the partnership, what kind of challenges did you all experience with reaching out to city leaders to get buy-in to the project?
We didn't have many challenges or barriers from that. And I think we were very fortunate with that in the fact that we already had collected data and had information. So when we are out and presenting to those community leaders in the Quad Cities, they're very understanding and they're receptive to it because we took the time to do the food system assessment. But then we also took that extra step of care and thoughtfulness in asking those restaurants and hunger relief agencies, if we're going to help you, this is a partnership, what can we do to help you? So when we had all of that information, we've really had wonderful community support, which I know is pretty unique to the Quad Cities. So we're happy that we didn't have any hurdles to jump.
That's fantastic, considering how many, a lot of communities, they just have their community to consider, and the Quad Cities is such a unique region in itself. So congratulations, that's quite an accomplishment to not have to. But you're right, data is very, very key. We do have a question from Pete. He says, what would you say is the key things a new area should consider to start a similar program to what the Food Rescue Partnership has done?
Well, hi, Pete Vogel. He is the former Food Rescue Partnership Board Chair for many years, and he just relocated. So he's probably looking to get started in his new community. And I would say one thing that's really helped us is the health department support. And I think that really gets the foot in the door with a lot of restaurants, because when I'm making a phone call to follow up, it's Christina from the health department. And that gets me connected a lot easier to the manager or the owner of the establishment that I'm looking to talk to. And so we have done this presentation at the state of Iowa several years ago. And I know there are other local health departments that are interested in food rescue. But again, it's, we've had an entire pandemic and the health departments are pretty involved with that. So I think that's great. And then also reaching out to those hunger relief agencies in your community. So if you have a food bank, touching base with the food bank. If you have a food pantry or meal site in your church or, anywhere locally in the community that you're already out and about seeing, just starting those conversations and saying, we have a lot of great things going on. How do we connect the dots and share our resources so we're not reinventing the wheel and duplicating services?
Great. Abigail Pritchard asks, is there a way for a church to partner with the food rescue program for a monthly community breakfast?
So we have not partnered with churches specific to hosting a meal. So we have a list of churches that want food donations. If we get a phone call from someone that is looking to donate food, and we'll connect them that way. But that's something that I would be very interested in further discussing. So all of my contact information is up on that slide, Abigail, and please feel free to send me an email or give me a phone call and we can touch base to talk about that more.
Wonderful.
Christina, this is Brian again, Michelle's counterpart. So, quick question as a follow-up to that question. The food deserts are real. We experienced it here. My wife responded to someone's ad on Facebook, and my wife made a dinner for somebody who, an impoverished family, no car. I was surprised it was happening here in Kansas. In regarding that question that you just received, have you seen the organizations go out to the areas and perhaps provide breakfasts or dinners to those folks that live in the food deserts?
Yes. And so the nonprofit hunger relief agencies in our community do a really good job of doing that. Some of them have to stay within, their church or the confines of whatever facility they have. But Riverbend Food Bank has a mobile food pantry that they get out into the community. And again, during the pandemic, we saw a lot of pop-up food pantries taking place. I know there was a lot of great collaborations with all of our school districts. I know specifically in Scott County that they knew when kiddos weren't in school, there was a chance they weren't getting a hot meal for breakfast or lunch. And so the school districts had funding that they had received through the state to ensure that they could still provide a meal for the parents or caregivers to pick up for them. And then also, I want to talk a little bit about Milestones Area Agency. So they have their hot meal sites for seniors, and those are spread throughout the community in different locations. And they were overwhelmed with how many seniors were food insecure during the pandemic, and very mindful of the fact that a lot of research, those seniors don't want to go to the food pantry or the meal site because they want it for the kids. They feel guilty taking that food because they're taking it away from a child in their eyes. And so Milestones partnered with various restaurants in Scott County, again, that I know of, and especially in rural Scott County, where you are in those food deserts, just because you have to drive 20-30 minutes to a grocery store. And those small town restaurants were preparing food and delivering it while they were closed and not open for business, but partnering with that, Milestones Area on Aging to make sure those seniors were fed. So there was a lot of great things already happening before the pandemic, making sure people are getting reliable food, but it really ramped up and has exemplified, what great things is going on in the Quad Cities since then.
Fantastic. Yeah, there's a lot of other kind of social things that happen under people's social and psychological things that happen underneath of that. And I'm really happy that you brought up that idea that seniors were saying, oh, no, we need to have this for the kiddos. That's something that I've heard repeated in a lot of different ways. So awesome. Well, thank you again, Christina, for this valuable information and for providing us with some resources and some great information.